Many of us love to go hiking here in Colorado. It's a chance to get away from it all, to find some peace and quiet. But if you're disabled, that's often difficult, unless you go on a trail that's especially designed for wheelchairs. News 4's Kimberly Drake introduces us to a man who is trying to open more of the outdoors to the physically challenged.
In the shimmering heat of the morning sun, it looks like a mirage, but your eyes aren't playing tricks.
The dogs are doing all the work. I'm just sitting back and enjoying the ride. Hike, Vince.
These dogs usually pull a dog sled, but when their owner, Ice Fox, yes, that's really his name, Ice Fox, saw an off-road wheelchair, he realized it would be a great way to train the dogs in the summer and a great way for the disabled to go hiking.
You could take one of these wheelchairs and 2 dogs, and a physically challenged person that can't walk can go out in the woods 10 miles, spend the night, and come back with no assistance whatsoever.
Hike, Lito, hike, Johnny.
Ice Fox hopes to eventually get a sponsor to help cover the costs of his project. But for now, he and friend Matt Feeney are still seeing what the possibilities are.
Physically challenged people don't get the opportunity like you and me just to go seek some solitude, to quiet the voices in their heads.
Ice Fox uses dogs that are a quarter greyhound because they're faster. He, the dogs, and Matt have been experimenting with the wheelchair for about 3 months.
You know, having the dogs take us places where maybe, we couldn't go or we would have trouble going. Steeper terrain, rougher terrain.
In 1988, Matt lost the use of his legs when he dove off a cliff at Lake Powell. He hit the water wrong and cracked a vertebrae.
Right after I hit the water, I remember trying to get to the surface of the water and not being able to move my legs.
Matt used to mountain bike. Now, he downhill races in an off-road chair.
It's like a lazy boy on wheels.
The dogs offer him yet another outlet.
You ready?
Hike, 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 hike.
The dogs dash over the dirt road. Side by side, they pant, pulling Matt.
Hike, Portia, hike. And the amazing part about it is they love to do it. They live for this.
Their tails wag, their tongues flap like flags, perpetual smiles on their furry faces. And for Matt, it's like flying.
All I need now is Rudolph. We could fly over things.
Kimberly Drake, News 4.
Hike, Portia.
Ice Fox is not offering off-road wheelchair rides to the disabled just yet. He says he would like to offer the rides at no charge, but he needs to find a sponsor first.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
The saying, "a dog is man's best friend," is taking on a whole new meaning. We've always been able to count on our canine buddies to help us find criminal suspects, locate missing victims, and just have someone warm to snuggle up next to. But tonight, photojournalist Frank Rockwell shows us how sled dogs are helping the physically challenged explore rugged wilderness.
Hike, hike, on by, hike.
Even though America is the best place to live in the world with the American Disabilities Act, not all of the world is going to be paved over.
Instead of horsepower, David Noonan is taking advantage of dog power.
This chair allows me to go down a 13,000 foot summit mountain at speeds of 20 to 40 plus miles per hour, traveling over big rocks that I wouldn't be able to normally do that in my chair.
And with the help of 2 Iditarod dogs in training, there is almost nowhere Noonan can't go. He and his partners built this 4-wheel, lightweight, off-road cycle for physically challenged athletes. And when a dog trainer for the Iditarod saw the vehicle at a trade show, he thought it was a perfect match.
We're training for the Iditarod, and being able to train all summer is a big plus. And when I saw the wheelchair, I had totally selfish motives. I talked to the wheelchair people. I just wanted one.
But it ended up being a win-win situation for everyone. The Iditarod dogs are able to train in the warm weather months, and physically challenged athletes can go places that are otherwise inaccessible.
It's an anxiety that you feel getting into an off-road wheelchair and being able to go and do the things that sitting in this chair, I look at and I know that I couldn't go over that stuff or do the things. Okay, hike, Vince. Hike, Ollie, hike, hike.
And for the dogs, well, they're doing what they love best.
These are strong, long-distance sled dogs, and they want to go every day. They're just happy to do it. You can't make people this happy, but the dogs just absolutely love to go and do this, and doing it all summer is fun, right, Ollie? Yeah.
David Noonan says there's been more people on the moon than have done what he's attempted to do with the Iditarod dogs. However, he says they need more sponsors. If you're interested in helping provide these off-road cycles for physically challenged athletes, call us here at the station and we'll hook you up with the right people. And those dogs are true amazing athletes, and it's good for them to train all year round instead of just at the winter months.
Just in the snow, yeah, that's a great story.
Nature takes mind and body and puts them at their best. Here one comes to know himself and to be the self he would like to be.
Ever since I was a little kid, I've wanted to always be outside. In fact, I was probably the kid who wouldn't come home when his mom said it was time and called him in for dinner. I was the last one in all the time. It's just always been with me. My name's Matt Feeney, and we're out here camping in Kinney Creek, Colorado, which is in between Hot Sulphur Springs and Granby. And it's kind of a little slice of heaven up here. It's a place where I don't think you find too many people, probably more animals than people. When I was first going through rehab and going through a real hard time after my injury 7 years ago, after I broke my back, I realized that I was spending a lot of time indoors initially. I mean, in the hospital, it was tough to get out. I think that's maybe where all this outdoorsmanship stems from, is just wanting to get back out in the woods, wanting to get back out on the ski hill, wanting to be outdoors. I just love being out of doors.
Good boys. Hike.
There is a bit of seclusion up here, and that's one of the reasons I like coming up here, is to just get away from the crowds and...
Hey, I'm talking over here. Yeehaw!
I've been racing this chair for years at mountain bike races. And about 6 months ago, I got a phone call from Icebox.
I went to a trade show and I saw an off-road wheelchair, and it looked like the finest dog training cart I ever saw.
He pitched his idea to me that he would like to hook up some of his sled dogs to the off-road chair.
The dogs are pretty much programmed. They do one thing. They pull and run.
They like to run. I like to go fast.
We can take backpacking trips with paraplegics, disabled people, and the dogs.
And we've been able to come up here and push ourselves a little further each time.
Less people have done this than have been on the moon.
Run by, Vince, run by. Bye-bye.
It's really not that amazing what we're doing. I'm just trying to do a mainstream activity that millions of people enjoy, every year. But if I had to push on my own without the dogs, it would have taken me, several hours, where they could get me somewhere in 10 or 15 minutes. And that's kind of why we want to do this.
Hike! Hike, hike, hike! Hike, Vince! Hike! 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 Good boys! Hike!
This is like a pilot run for what we hope to do in the future, and that's maybe take other disabled people backpacking and camping into places that they normally wouldn't get to. But with the right equipment, the right dogs, and the right attitude, I think we can go pretty much anywhere we want to.
Good boys!
A story for you this morning about a man who gave up city life to live in the mountains and raise dogs.
He goes by the name Ice Fox, and he's training his sled dog team to run in the 1999 Alaskan Iditarod.
Photojournalist Dan Dwyer takes us along on a workout with Ice Fox and his pack.
Morning and evening. They get fed every 12 hours. We have 37 dogs here. Nice out today. Temperature got up to about 6 already. The name Ice Fox, it is what I go by. The dog sled team was named Ice Fox before I was. It's the Gernman. There you go, buddy. The dogs don't get a lot of toys. They eat their bowls a lot. When I think about it, a dog's idea of God is man, and it kind of turns out both ways. I'm their God and they're mine. I hope to run the 1999 Iditarod. Well, to start a project this tough, you say we're going. That's all we're going, no matter what it takes. There you go. Get in there. That's a good boy. My mom said she didn't know anybody that did exactly what they wanted to do, except me. A friend of mine said, "You got an interesting hobby," and I said, "It's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle." We're taking an 8-dog team up Cabin Creek today. To train for the Iditarod, you have to have 200 training days, about 16 to 18 hours a day. Let's go running. With dog sledding, it's not something you can make them do. They got to do it because they want to. That's right. Every time we go out, we have a great time. Right, Murbella? They don't want to wait until you get the rest of the dogs hooked up, even if they have to pull the sled by themselves. Hey! This is it. This is the whole deal. Hey, go in. Nothing nicer than taking a nice morning out in the sun, take the dogs for a walk, or a run, depending on how they feel. Okay, let's go up the hill. I've seen people run the Iditarod and say, ran up every hill. You betcha. For 1,100 miles, they ran up every hill. I always think, well, gee, your dogs must not be very good if you had to run up all the hills. Let's go, Vince, hey! Just keeping up with them will keep you in shape, keeps you young. So many people just lock up. You know, they hit 40 and say, well, I can't do anything anymore. People my age shouldn't be doing this or that. But it's not going to happen to me. Okay, go! Once you get them out on the trail, though, there's nothing prettier. Starving to death, buying dog food instead of going to Mazatlan. Everything, it's all worth it. If I can't do this, I don't want to do anything. Just nothing else that you could be that happy and satisfied doing. Go, Vince! Pretty good boy.
Such determination.
Yeah, and the beautiful office he works in, huh?
Yeah.
Very nice.
I used to have a 40-hour-a-week job and paid my insurance on my house and paid my house payments and paid my car payments, and none of that equated straight on with survival. But you get far enough out on the trail, if you mess up, it means survival. It's a lot more interesting.
Ice Fox Racing. It's not just the excitement of the sport, it's dedication to the sport, to the sponsors, and to the dogs that make it all happen. It all begins here, in the unique backyard kennels of Ice Fox Racing. 5 a.m. every morning, and it's time to feed the dogs. A commitment that lasts a lifetime. exemplified by this 19-year-old retiree.
It means a lot more when you do the things than just doing all the paperwork and living a normal life.
Ice Fox Racing. Innovative. With a unique and exciting mix of greyhounds and Alaskan Huskies, Ice Fox Racing is the hottest thing running.
Very nice. One's a greyhound. What can they do? Yeah, they say they can run over 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, that guy is really cruising.
15-mile-an-hour average will win this race, and his dogs will run over 30.
Is one of the largest economic boosts to the Denver area's economy. It opened shop today in the hopes of making millions for some local merchants. And some dog enthusiasts were hoping to make some cash as well tonight at the show. This is called a dog pull, competition amongst different classes of dogs to see how much weight they can pull.
Come on, bring it. Come on, bring it. Bring it here. Bring it here. Come on, hurry up. What? Let's fly.
At one of the past events of the stock show, a St. Bernard pulled 4,000 pounds to win the event. The stock show runs through January 21st. Another